There seem to be two types of people in the world: the ones who love history and the ones that had a lousy history teacher growing up. Now, I say that a little facetiously because I'm a historian. I'm one of those people that loves history. And when I meet other people, kindred spirits who love history too, oh, we click. It makes sense. And we feel bad for all of those that didn't have a good social studies teacher in elementary school and a good history teacher in junior high and high school, to the point that they never took any history classes in college, and they were left thinking that history is merely a bunch of random dates and boring events. And it's so much more than that. If you can find someone who brings history to life for you, that is a gift that keeps on giving. With a knowledge and understanding and love of history, we use the present to make sense. We use the past to make sense of the present. We put the past in service to the present. We look around us and it makes sense because we understand how we got ourselves into this mess and how similar civilizations have gotten themselves out of it. There is so much benefit that can come by learning history. With that in mind, the Lord makes sure that there are historians in the church. There is a need here to keep a history and a need for a church historian. The church is less than 1 year old, but it's time to start chronicling the experiences that the saints have had to this point. As a historian myself, I am so grateful that the Lord said from almost the very beginning, write it down. You're going to need documents to be able to make sense of what has gone on before. Now, we see this in section 47. There's only 4 verses. I'm going to read the whole thing, okay? Fast revelation to study. It says, "Behold, it is expedient in me," so this is something the Lord feels strongly about, "expedient in me that my servant John," that's John Whitmer, "should write and keep a regular history, and assist you, my servant Joseph, in transcribing all things which shall be given you, until he is called to further duties. Again, verily I say unto you that he can also lift up his voice in meetings, whenever it shall be expedient. And again I say unto you that it shall be appointed unto him to keep the church record and history continually. For Oliver Cowdery I have appointed to another office. Wherefore it shall be given him," John, "inasmuch as he is faithful by the Comforter to write these things. Even so, amen." Now, pretty straightforward revelation, like I said. And I want to get back to the concept of keeping a history, because that's the focal point. But did you notice what the Lord taught along the way? He packs a lot of punch into this 4-verse revelation. For example, did you notice the idea that callings tend to be temporary? Oliver Cowdery seems to have been doing something along these lines for a time, but now he's being asked to do something else. I have appointed him to another office. Ooh, which means somebody else needs to take up this one. Welcome to life in the church, where we seem to rotate around through our responsibilities pretty frequently. And that's good to know. This isn't going to be a permanent assignment. Take advantage of the time you have to serve in it, though, and give it the best that you've got. There will come a time where you will be given further duties, but until that, these are the duties you've got right now. Give it all you've got. There's another principle here when it refers to John as my servant. And what's interesting to me, my servant John is going to keep a history to assist you, my servant Joseph. Oh, so whether it's John, whether it's Joseph, you're all servants. We are all servants. And if we recognize that position we're in, far beneath our master, called to serve him and to serve him diligently, then I will do whatever you ask of me. You want me to be a historian? I don't know how to do it. And boy, did John Whitmer feel overwhelmed. I can't do this. Well, will you? I'll help you. Whom the Lord calls, he qualifies, as President Monson always used to say. But if we recognize ourselves as servants of the Lord, then tell me what you would like me to do, and I will do my very best to serve, however long or in whatever way you're asking me. I think there's another principle in terms of the way our service should be rendered. Did you catch the phrase faithful? That word at the end, inasmuch as he is faithful, I'll help him. Or the phrase by the Comforter. So is my service faithful? Is it diligent? Am I doing everything that I can? I'm not running faster than I have strength. He doesn't expect me to, but I am trying to magnify my calling. I'm being faithful and I'm serving by the Comforter. Is my service Spirit directed? It's the only hope I've got for that service to actually be meaningful to someone. Now, so far, all of these things apply across the board to any calling that we have. Wonderful principles, whether you're John or Joseph or Jared or anyone out there. But let's get back to John specifically, since this is technically his little revelation. And did you catch the two modifiers on this history he's supposed to write? One's an adjective, the other's an adverb. The adjective was regular. Write and keep a regular history. And a few verses later, the adverb was continually. Keep the church record and history continually. So the history we keep, and I would say this is institutional for the church, but also individual for each of us. Are we recording the hand of God in our lives regularly and continually? If it's a regular history, we're not saying, oh, it's just regular, mediocre, basic. No, do it regularly. This is an ongoing, periodically, I'm keeping up with things, okay? It will be a regular history. If you think about the opposite, it would be something like the smallest of the small plates of Nephi. When you get into the book of Omni, for example, and it's like, whoa, has it really been 20 years since I wrote in this book? Yikes. Or, wow, I never wrote in it and I'm getting old and I want to pass the buck on to my brother. So come here, bro, watch me write one little verse on the last day I have this responsibility and then pass it on to you. Yikes, that is not a regular history at all. Mormon saw that and was lucky that part was lucky to make it in. Mormon did a heck of a job keeping a regular history throughout Nephite civilization. Okay, we've got to do the same for the church, institutionally, for our lives, individually. And if it's true that it needs to be regular, it also needs to be continual. That we don't keep it regularly for a while and then there's this massive gap in the record. As a historian, that's devastating. The longer time passes and the larger gaps appear in the documentary record, then we're left to try to figure things out, make logical conclusions on certain assumptions, try to connect dots where there aren't clear things to spell it all out. That's hard work. I am grateful for the incredible history we have in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Not only the history that we've lived through, but the history that we have recorded so we can live through it and learn from it again. I just finished the 4th volume of Saints, and that 4-volume series is incredible. It's more than just regular and continual. It's inspiring. And if we can learn from our past, not only will we be able to navigate our present, we will be prepared to embrace a glorious future.